Hmm. So good morning. In the previous class, we have completed some numerical problems, right? So now in this unit 5, in the previous class already told that what are the things which is under unit 5, that is the kinetics of particle, and then the work energy, right? And then the D'Alembert, which I already have completed. So in the work energy, now the thing which are there, there's actually basically some theory is there, and after that we shall start the some numerical. So today I shall give you some numerical some theoretical concept. So you all are aware about the in the three approaches generally solve the kinetics of problem, right? Kinetics problem. So if I write three approaches to solve kinetic problem, kinetics type of problem. First one I have told you, that is the direct application of Newton's second law, right? Also sometime called as a force mass acceleration method. Force mass acceleration method. Then we already I think have discussed about the constrained motion and the unconstrained motion, right? And both type there we can use the different type of coordinate system, that is the rectilinear motion type, then the curvilinear motion. In the curvilinear motion, first one is rectilinear, then the curvilinear, right? In this curvilinear also we can write, there have the three coordinate we can use. One is normal and tangent. This thing already I have discussed with you in detail, right? And the polar coordinate. So this is the one technique. Another technique is the use of work energy principle. Okay. Use of work energy principle. Now, under this work energy principle, first of all, you have to understand what is the definition of this work energy. Okay. So, if suppose let's draw to understand the definition of work. Here we can say a force if acting on a particle, and if we draw the diagram, so let's first draw so that you can easily understand. See, if if we consider a particle A move along the path, this is the path actually, okay. We have considered this one as a path. So when this particle move along the path, the position vector r, the position vector we normally define as a OA, okay, position vector, this is the coordinate. So r measured from some convenient origin O, locate the particle as it passes through A, and dr is the differential displacement. So what is the dr then? R is this one. This if we consider O A dash R dash, which is R plus dr. So O A dash, we consider this one as a this portion, sorry, this portion as a dr. So we can write The work done, which is defined by du, is the force which is acted on that particle. We can show it is a summation of all force. This is a vector, so that force vector into dr. Okay, so this will give us the magnitude of dot product, which is du. This is a dot product, so that du is f ds cos alpha. Okay, why I am written like that? Because if we consider, if we enlarge this portion, if we enlarge this portion, we can see that suppose the force, summation of all force uh, acted along this f, and if this is the path on which that particle move, so if this particle have an angle of alpha, means we are consider this one as a alpha, so that if n, this one is the f along this is f along the path, this should be always the tangential, so it is ft, which is nothing but the f cos alpha, fn nothing but the f sin alpha, right? So we can say the magnitude of dot product is always the f into ds cos alpha. Clear? Where is ds? We shall take the small portion, small displacement as a ds. So this is always your ds cos alpha, this length we are talking about. Okay, means this one. uh, this one we are talking about, this up to this. So this is ds cos alpha. So we can write the work done is f into ds cos alpha. This is the formula to find out the work done by forces acted on a particle. Or we can write it also as a the means in other manner we can write as ft is equal to f cos alpha. So f cos alpha, so we can write this thing as a, sorry, f t into ds, same thing, because ft is f cos alpha, it is written here. Okay, now this work is positive if the working component, that is the ft which is acted on a particle, is in the direction of the displacement, and negative if it is the opposite of the direction of its motion. Clear? As when we apply that force on a particle, suppose this is a particle, if we apply force, if this motion of that particle also in the same direction, so it is positive. If we apply a force but motion of that particle is in this direction, so that ft is negative. Clear? Another thing we can say, see, calculation of work. So here, how we can calculate the amount of work? See, during a finite movement of the point of application of a force, the force does an amount of work which you can write in the form of a equation, that is u is, you can understand, I think, na, that if a particle is there and due to this all force, summation of all force, it move along the direction, right? So the work done by this force is nothing but in the form of integration is into dr. Okay, and if we say in the space, if we talking about in the space, then there have a three coordinate. So we can write it as a f x dx plus f y dy plus f z dz. Okay, same thing. Or for this present case, it is same as f is equal to if ft, then dr is ds, right? For the present example we are talking about. Anyone have any query up to this? Hello, is it okay? Please reply, at least anyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So the next part is the work, work in curvilinear motion. Hmm. So if we write the topic name such that the work and curvilinear motion. From this topic, I think you can understand that if a particle move, in the previous one we have talking about if a particle move along a straight line, right? Now suppose if a particle move along a curve, then what can you write the equation? Okay, so first draw then this is the coordinate. In this coordinate, this is x, this is y, this is z. Okay, and if you consider a curve by uh, this blue line, for example. Okay, uh, okay, you can take. Okay, so this is the path. In this path, if a particle position, okay, a particle position is consider this one. This is the particle where all the force acted on that particle. Okay, so if we write the summation of all force, it means all the force along these any direction. So the summation net force we are talking about. Okay, so we can resolve this into two component. One is along Fn, one is the tangential, right? Ft, and this position vector should be this one, the position vector denoted as a r. Now we consider the work done on a particle. If we consider this particle have a mass is equal to m and moving along this curve path as I shown here, na, this curve path, suppose it move under the force which is acted on this particle, summation of f, then we can say the position of this particle m is specified by the position vector r. Normally we defined as a o, from o, this is the coordinate, and its displacement along the path during time, if we consider dt, okay, is represented by the change its dr in its position vector. Understand? First, if t is equal to 0, then your position vector, suppose you consider this one, and after t is equal to dt, the change in their position vector. And if we consider this one, suppose uh, uh, suppose that particle at initial, if you consider this one, if you consider this is your s1, and after t time, suppose along this path it move and come to this position. Okay, and you write it has a displacement s2. So you can write the work done, you can write the work done by using this force acted on that particle is u1 to 2, means from this location to this location, 1 to 2, 3, through this curvilinear path of a particle of mass m. We can write it as a 1 to 2 if due to that force the amount of displacement, or we can write this as a integration of 1 to 2 if we consider along this path. Okay, so if we write it is the up to this one is displacement s1, and after this is a displacement s2, but that is up to through the path only, right? So we can write the force into displacement. Is it clear? And that is equals to, we can write is that mass into acceleration of ft, and the ds is denoted as here dr. Okay, so that is the work done by this particle. Now one thing what you have to understand, that if acceleration into dr is a t into ds, where at is the tangential component, and at into ds, you all know that nothing but it is the v into dv, na tangential component we are talking about. That v is equal to a v is equal to at we are talking about, and the velocity is nothing but with respect to velocity itself derivative is shown as the acceleration. So this formula you know. So if we put this one here, then we will get u1 to 2 m into a into dr. This one a into dr means at into ds, na, as per our nomenclature. So that at into ds we can write v into dv instead of this one, right? So if we do the integration, we get mv2 square minus v1 square. So what it means? It means in a curvilinear motion, if the work done, we have to find it is nothing but there is a change in the kinetic energy. Okay, is it understandable? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and if we write this as a, suppose half of mv square, if we denote it as a t, for example, so it is nothing but t2 minus t1, which is del t. So that is the actually equation. Hmm. That is actually your final equation, which indicates that work energy equation. This is actually called work energy equation for a particle. Sometime it may ask that find out for any curvilinear motion what is the work energy of any particle. So you have to define this thing, or derive this thing. So now one thing, although this is kinetic energy is always positive, half of mv square, the change is maybe a negative or zero. Remember, as this is a velocity square, so maybe the t, this is the kinetic energy itself is a always positive, right? But the change in the kinetic energy, that is the t2 minus t1, that may be zero, t2 minus t1, or maybe negative, right? That is a possibility. Now the come to the potential energy. This is the kinetic energy we are talking about. Now come to the potential energy. So potential energy in terms of, we can write for potential energy, we can write in terms of gravity and elasticity. Okay, and if we write both the gravity and elasticity, we can say uh, we can say if Vg is gravitational potential energy, mgh. And ve, elastic potential energy. Okay, so then maybe someone asked that what is the elastic potential energy. Actually, when due to the elastic to elastic body collision, or due to the elastic body's deformation, there have some energy stored into that system. For example, spring, the work which is done by the spring to deform its stored in the spring, and we can call it as a elastic potential energy. Means when the spring has done some work and then what happened, it deformed. Okay, so that is called as a elastic potential energy. Example of that. Now come to the work energy equation. In the work energy equation, you can say that as this Vg, that is the gravitational potential energy, plus del T, that is the U12, is nothing but the total summation of the work by that system. So with considering the elastic body, we can write, this is the U2 we have considered. Now if we consider elastic force, or we can say this is the elastic body force, then we can write it as a U dash is equal to del T plus del of Vg plus del of Ve. So this is the final equation. Okay. Now for a particle, remember, if a particle and spring mass system, the work energy relationship is always equals to this spring mass system. If we example, if we consider work energy principle, then for spring mass system, this U12 dash is nothing but del E, where del is equal, sorry, where E is equal to T plus Vg plus Ve. Okay, that is the total energy. That is, this E is called as a is total mechanical energy. Okay. Now if you remember that there have a three method I am talking about. First one is the force mass, second one is the use of work energy principle, and the third one, which is I am not written, third one is the impulse and momentum method. Okay, so impulse and momentum method. So what is the meaning of impulse and momentum method then? See, impulse and momentum method. Here we, similar to previous one, here also have a two technique. One is angular, one is linear. Okay, when that is a straight line along, or when that is a any curve. So first one we can say here, first one is linear impulse, linear impulse and linear momentum. Linear impulse and linear momentum. So here the principle is actually that the effect of resultant force on the linear on a particle is equal its time rate of change of linear momentum. So this is actually the principle, but if we just derive that one, so to derive what we have to do, simple take first that coordinate x, y, and z, then consider similar way like the previous one, a curve we are talking about, right? Here, if we consider that initially they have the previous one is the displacement we are considering. Now consider at this point the particle velocity is v1 at a time of t1, and this is the path. Actually this black line we have considered, it is a path. Okay, and at time t2 suppose it will travel up to this where the velocity of that particle is v2, and consider as this is a curve, so consider this distance as a r1 and this distance as a r2. Okay, now see, general curvilinear motion in space of a particle of mass m, and if we consider this particle, this particle r have a motion, suppose this is your summation of f. Hmm. So these particles suppose at this position have one I think you all know that velocity is always in the tangential direction, so v is equal to r dot we can say, and uh, what we can write the momentum, that momentum is nothing but the m into v. Okay, so the resultant of all forces which is acted on that particle of mass m in the direction of its acceleration. So acceleration direction is, which direction is acceleration? If velocity is this one, then acceleration is along this, at which direction the force is applied, so that is the v dot. So the basic equation of motion we can write, if summation of all force is equals to m into acceleration. Acceleration means velocity rate, so m into v dot, which we can write d dt, time derivative of velocity, right? And remember, linear impulse and linear momentum technique, they want to say that this mv is nothing but your g, so we can write d dt of g. Okay, so g is the linear momentum. Linear momentum to you. Okay, so now I again repeat this one, that if a particle move along a curved path and if at a different velocity at different position, as this figure, in this figure you can see, so the resultant force means all the resultant forces acted on a particle is equals to its time rate of change of linear momentum. So I write this statement, actually this statement is very important. If let's write this in such a manner that the resultant of all forces acting on a particle equals its rate of change of linear momentum. Okay, so this is the actually the statement which shows the formula that summation of all forces acted on a particle is nothing but its rate of change of linear uh, equals to the rate of change of linear momentum. So rate of change means linear momentum is mv, the rate of change of mv, which is nothing but we can write at a ddt of g. So this equation is come from this statement. Okay, so now the question is, this is the linear, that as per our topic, that linear impulse and linear momentum. So linear momentum is this one. So now linear impulse. What is the linear impulse then? See, if we are now talking about linear impulse, okay, in linear impulse we can say the effect of that resultant force acted on linear momentum of a particle over a period of time, simply integrate it with respect to time, then we can say it is the impulse, sorry, it is said as a linear impulse. What it means? It means, suppose in this figure if you see very minutely, that initially we are talking about, suppose a path is there, in that path for a specific position of a particle, if it moves at a certain velocity v, which is nothing but the r dot, right, and due to this force, the change in the momentum, sorry, due to this force, the amount of linear momentum which is generated on that particle, that is come under this linear momentum. But when we are talking about linear impulse, it indicates, suppose that particle move along this path at a specific, for a definite period of time, means suppose that particle initially is at this position, where that position vector is r1 and the time is t1, initial means when time is equal to t1. Suppose that particle move along this path and goes to this position when the time is t2, and that time the position vector is r2. If this is the situation, means for a specific period of time we just consider that particle, or we just apply that all the forces, then that linear impulse or linear momentum principle will be integration of t1 to t2, as in this picture na, you have seen that t1 to t2. Then for that specific period of time, if we apply that force, then we can write g2 minus g1 is equal to del g. Why we can write? Because here in this position there have certain, in this position 2, there have certain momentum. If we write this in such a manner that different color, no, suppose this position, for this position, that is mv2, which is g2, and suppose it is the initial condition, if we write this is your momentum, so you can write mv1, this is your g1. Okay, g1. So you can easily write this equation, right? So for this for this statement, you can write that you can write the product of the net acted force and time, right? Net acted force and time, okay, is defined as the linear impulse of force. Okay, it means in this equation that the total linear impulse on mass m equals to the correspondence change in this linear momentum. Is it clear? Up to this, anyone have any question? So this is the linear impulse formula, change in the linear momentum, and linear momentum is nothing but the change in the velocity. So rate of means due to this force, the rate of change of momentum. This is the rate of change of momentum, and this is the hello. Anybody want to say anything? Hello. Please mute yourself. Okay, so this is actually the linear impulse and the linear momentum. So I repeat again, linear momentum is nothing but the rate of change of momentum, right? That is the due to this force, the linear momentum with respect to time derivative, it gives us the linear momentum, and linear impulse is what? Linear impulse is the rate of change, the for a specific period of time, or we can say for a finite period of time, there is a change in their momentum, in their linear momentum. Okay, up to this, anyone have any question? Hello.
No, sir.
Please say something if you want to say. Any question you have? Please send the attendance screenshot to me. Huh? Please send the attendance screenshot to me. Am I audible? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Am I audible, right? So any question you have? Please reply at least. Send the screenshot, attendance screenshot. Okay. Please send the attendance screenshot. So shall I continue? If anyone have any question, you can ask, or shall I continue? Hello. Okay, like the linear momentum and the linear impulse I am talking about now. So similarly, remember, like the linear impulse, linear momentum, there have another thing, that is the angular impulse and the angular momentum. That is, if you write angular impulse and angular momentum. Okay, so here if you want to understand the concept, it is nothing but in the same manner we have to first draw that coordinate x, y and z, and in that coordinate if you draw a path in the same manner, then if you write the position vector, and if you write that this is your momentum at an angle of suppose theta, so the concept or the principle is that the moment of the linear momentum, that is the NV, the moment of the linear momentum means mv into means if you write that equation, first write this one, momentum, sorry, the moment of the linear momentum itself a vector, as you know, said that mv. So if you write about an origin O is defined as angular momentum h0 of particle, if we consider it is a particle p, position of particle p, of particle p. Okay, so the formula what we can write, that is the r cross mv. Okay, v is the velocity along this path. Okay, so if it is, then you can understand that if it is the impulse, sorry, if it is the angular momentum, then momentum means what? Momentum means which vector, a vector which is perpendicular to that plane, right? So if it is rotate, due to here you can see now this is a particle on where which have a certain momentum, which have a position vector of r, and if it is rotate, then the generation of the angular momentum is nothing but the h0, which is denoted as this r cross v or r cross mv. Okay, so up to this I just continue it. I need to some another class to continue because there have another thing, that is the angular impulse, angular momentum. This is the angular momentum we are talking about. So similarly, angular impulse and momentum principle, and then the impact, linear impact and oblique impact. I think linear impact, you know, you have to only understand the oblique impact. Okay, have you sent the screenshot to me? Hello? Okay. So I end my lecture here for today. And I will send this to the group also. This theory which I have written here. Okay. Anyone have any question? Okay. So I end my lecture.